Darren is going to tell us why actress and comedian Kathy Burke has got it all wrong about wokeness. Let's start the clock.
Folks, Kathy Burke, she says they're calling you woke if you call out bad things. Now, those that preach at the altar of woke, like Kathy, like to tell us that they're the good guys, right? That they're simply there to fend off the baddies. But actually, I would argue that they have brought about a new intolerance in Britain. The woke worldview says that it's my way or the highway, right? That if you don't share this increasingly narrow worldview, then you stand to lose your job, you stand to lose your livelihood, you stand to lose your status, even your friends and family, if you don't parrot the right lines. We've seen this time and time again. It is a new intolerance. And you'll be banned from social media accounts. I can't tell you the amount of times I've been banned from Facebook, for example. Woke says it likes diversity, but not diversity of thought. Woke says it likes freedom, but not free speech. I'm out of time, but the Kathy Burke is a Burke by name and Burke by nature, folks.
Hey, there we go, just in time. I think you're spot on when you talk about diversity of opinion. It seems like, well, the wokies, if we're going to call them that, all they seem to care about is diversity of skin colour, sexuality, identity, essentially, and not what's actually in your brain.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, you know Kathy Burke, right, Lawrence?
I've come across her a couple of times.
She doesn't like you very much.
No, she doesn't. Her along with the... what's that band who sang Fairy Tale in New York? They didn't like me either.
Oh, yes.
But where was she for James Dreyfus?
Exactly.
Who's a gender-critical...
James Dreyfus, of course, for viewers, was in Gimme, 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 the hugely successful Gimme, 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 alongside Kathy Burke. And he's come out and said, actually, he believes in biological sex.
Oh, don't say that. That's racist, fascist and homophobic.
There he is on screen for our viewers on telly. And... Lawrence, I just think it shows that we're creating a sort of atmosphere of fear here, aren't we?
It's an embarrassment. She's an embarrassment to show business. But also, I think she's being ignored now. You know, her best lines were given to her by Harry Enfield and other talented people, and she's just trying to find some political relevance. She's a bore-off to me.
But just to add some diversity of thought to the conversation, maybe. If we take maybe the original meaning of what woke meant, which a lot of African-Americans use of being awake to injustice, if we take that as being fact, is what Kathy Burke said wrong? Shouldn't we all be woke in that respect? If all woke is being alive and awake to injustice, then aren't we all woke?
But was she specific, though? Was she specific in what she was so non-specific? It's like, I'm an actor, well, I was an actor until I was killed, but it's like I'm specific with the use of my words. So the woke as a word is pointless anyway. But you know, she wasn't specific. She didn't say what it meant. She was
deliberately non-specific, and in trying to come across as a nice, lovely, fluffy, inclusive person, what she's done is actually be really, really exclusive in what she's saying. Because what she's basically saying is, unless you subscribe to my very narrow definition of this word, then you are a racist, you are a homophobe, you are a transphobe, and you are a bad person. And can I just say, as a little word of warning out there to anyone who wants to shackle themselves to this woke brigade, they will drop you like a stone in a flash. The second there's 20 people who decide that they don't like you on Twitter, I'm sorry, but your woke mates in the arts are not going to be there for you.
Let's play the clip of Kathy Burke talking about this and respond off the back.
You woke if you call out bad things, basically. If you're not racist, you're woke. If you're not homophobic, oh, you're woke. Be woke. Kids, be woke.
I mean, Albie, would you say that everyone on this panel is racist and intolerant and all the rest of it? Because we disagree with what Kathy's saying there.
No, none of you are racist and none of you are intolerant. Otherwise, you wouldn't be sat here talking to me, would you? Look, I think what Kathy was saying was she was trying to use the original definition of woke, which was, as I mentioned, a phrase that African-Americans used to say we've got to be awake to injustice.
Isn't that just being civilised?
And I think, well, I suppose, yes, I think civilised is another way of putting it.
But the woke people would say that being civilised is racist.
The problem is, and this is the obvious issue with what she's doing, is that woke has changed in its meaning. It now means putting identity above all else. It means categorising people by their sex, by their gender identity, by their race, and then dictating where they stand on issues by that value.
But I suppose my question...
It's pretty disingenuous of her to say that woke meant that
Perhaps, but that is what it means. That is what it meant initially. And does anyone disagree with the initial meaning?
I get exactly what you mean, but what I see there is symptomatic of the depressing state of affairs that we find a lot of celebrities in. What she's saying there is just guff. She's gone on, she's thought, if I don't say anything other than this, I could get cancelled. So she just tosses out lines about this, that and the other, and actually, frankly, it means nothing.
Well, is it a negative position, though? Is she just saying, my position is that I don't like people calling out rational thought?
But then it stops you. If you then say, well, I don't particularly want to live next door to a migrant hotel, by her definition of it, you would be a frothing racist and far right and a xenophobe and all of this. Yeah. And that is wrong.
Absolutely. And she does wax lyrical, right? She doesn't like Brexiteers like me, like, you know, many of our viewers will be as well. The 17.4 million people that voted Leave are ignorant bigots, who knew? And actually, they wax lyrical about how woke brings in a diverse community and all that. The only diversity that they don't like is the diversity of thought and speech. Isn't that
They don't like working.
But are we perhaps being, you know, are we being a little bit authoritarian here? You know,
no, it's not.
Kathy can come on the show. Kathy can come on the show.
It's not authoritarian to try and debate somebody. That's the antithesis of authoritarianism. People like Kathy Burke go on TV and they go blah about this, blah about that, and you're not allowed to respond. So if we invited Kathy Burke, hi Kathy, come on and explain woke to us, well, the answer will be no every single time. Whereas if you invited me on The Guardian or Novara Media or any of those people, I'd go on and have a chat with them.
I wouldn't hold your breath.
Are you saying that Ash Sarkar and I are not going to be together? I'm leaving.
For those who don't know who Ash Sarkar is, she is a libertarian communist, which is an oxymoron, if I've heard one.
Yeah.
But there you go.
She spent all of your money.